Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the Chile community, by the Chile community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is a place for you. Man, up tonight we have an amazing return of a guest, as well as we're going to be discussing a great event that's going to be happening in Houston, and it'll be the first of many, and I can't wait to learn more about this event. So, episode 139 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for being here and continue to make this podcast what it is. Up tonight, we have two amazing sauces on deck. One just dropped the other day. It is the very newest addition to the Stanky Sauce lineup, so I can't wait to dive into this one. It is the Classico. So we're going to be diving into that one on Hot or Not. And as we have the return of Brad, aka Spicy Dadda, we're going to be talking everything with the Houston, Texas pepper belt match that is going to be going on at the Social Beer House. So we will be discussing that, as well as, all the ways that different vendors, things to expect, everything that he has going on, and a little bit about the state of the overall community at this moment. So get ready to lock in, have a great discussion. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. All right. Hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. Up tonight, we have two sauces on deck. Both of these are from Stanky Sauce. We're going to be diving into the Classico and the sweet jalapeno Reaper sauce. So can't wait to, get into these. As always, I don't like to read the ingredients ahead of time. I like to let my taste buds do the exploration and really figure out what I am picking up. And then from there, we learn about the ingredients all together. I also do not like to do a 1 out of 10 scale. I like to do a 1 out of 5. That's really based off of 5 different categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, burn. Add those up, average them out, and that gives us our total swear word rating. Yes, heat is different than burn. Heat is that first 30 seconds. Burn is anything after, where it sits, how it sits. Does it migrate? Does it intensify? All these things come into factor in burn. But let's go ahead and jump into the first sauce. Love the overall graphics pop, the eye appeal. As you can see, it is a nice darker red color. Yes, this does have a perforation on the cellophane. All right, let's give this a good shake. Oh my goodness. All right, first off, very bold, very smoky, very zesty. Definitely picking up the pepper notes. You're picking up what smells like a little bit of, maybe that's garlic. Ooh, got a little on my nose. There we go. From a visual standpoint, you're seeing little specks of seasoning going on here. It looks like some breakdown of the overall peppers. Nice hold on this spoon. That's a healthy pour right there. Cheers. Oh my goodness. Absolutely amazing. Right off the bat, savory, kind of smoky, earthy notes that are coming from the peppers. A bit of what tastes like maybe some onions, some garlic, some citrus. And then from there, this beautiful cascade of different pepper notes that are going on here. So right off the bat, a little bit earthy, a little bit bright, and then that smoky, earthy undertones. So I'm definitely tasting a initial heat that hits quick, and then it kind of starts to fade out. And then there's a nice secondary kind of bump the second that, first pepper ends up kind of rolling out. And so from there, you're really left with this nice kind of earthy undertone body. This one definitely tastes like it has a nice earthy undertone to this pepper body. Someone that's just starting out, this is going to be a nice mild to medium heat sauce if you're just starting out. If you are constantly working on your own personal best, this is once again going to be a nice mild sauce for you. Absolutely an easy replacement that has much more depth and layers to the traditional red sauce per se, as to where this is definitely geared towards being a replacement in that avenue. Now you're having more craft approach to it. As far as versatility wise, you can see this pairing anywhere that you would normally use a traditional red sauce. So things that I probably wouldn't use this on would be a dessert, but everything else is fair game. Ingredients for the Classico are water, jalapeno pepper puree, distilled vinegar, garlic, chili de arbol pepper powder, key lime juice, and then we have xanthan gum, onion powder, paprika, smoked paprika, black pepper, and crushed red pepper. Absolutely phenomenal. Love the whole way through on this sauce. And definitely, if you are looking for a red sauce, but you're tired of the same old, you're wanting something with a little bit more class, a little bit more unique pizzazz and pop, and being able to carry through in a more complex heat note and transition, highly recommend checking out the Classico from Stanky Sauce. All right, heat coming in at 1.8, aroma of 4.32, flavor of 4.4, versatility of a 4, burn of a 2.6 for a total swear word rating of 3.36. There we go. Another amazing sauce. This one here is from Stanky Sauce. This is the Classico. Let's check out the next sauce. This is the sweet jalapeno Reaper sauce. Absolutely love the visual appeal, and I love the intensity at which they put the word Reaper on there to really grab your attention, to just know that you're not grabbing a traditional, just sweet jalapeno sauce. Yes, this does have perforation on the cellophane. Go ahead and bump that with the back of the spoon, and we will get this one off here. Beautiful aroma. The main thing I'm picking up here is the sweetness and the jalapeno notes. Not really grabbing anything else. Maybe a little bit onion in that undertone, but it's very faint if it is. So this is a slightly darker brownish red tone. Not quite brown, not quite red. Overall, beautiful looking sauce. Nice high flow. It's definitely holding well, so cheers. Oh my goodness. That is like a sweet jalapeno relish in a sauce, but the second that it hits your taste buds and you're graced with this sweet, savory note that carries forward, makes your taste bud open and receiving of what comes next, which is that Reaper undertone. And that Reaper really locks into the taste buds, starts igniting, and you're starting to feel it on your tongue, on the center of your mouth. Phenomenal burn here. If you're just starting out, this might be a bit much for you, but using this in moderation, you're going to be able to find a comfortable balance of what you can handle versus what you can't. So highly recommend checking it out in a moderation standpoint if you are just starting out. If you are working on your own personal best, this is a nice medium heat sauce for you all day long. Right off the bat, you'll get all that great flavor. Everything that's coming forward, really nice, clean, smooth transition. And then when you start to doubt, hey, is there any kind of heat here? Then you start to feel it ramp up. Then you start to feel it build. And as it does, as that heat fades away, the burn starts to gravitate towards the upper back part of the throat and really just sit there. And it's just a slight, slow ember roaring. It's nothing super intense and in your face and gonna beat you down. Phenomenal one, I can already tell you, for anything Mexican, anything with like a grilled protein and veggies. This is going to be one that I would also use on like pizzas and salads and lasagnas. This is going to be kind of geared in that realm, is the way that I'm viewing this sauce here. This would be amazing on hot dogs, actually. A sweet jalapeno, almost relish taste would be great on there, but then you get that nice heat as an after effect. It's kind of like a little, flavor bomb going off there. Now, let's go ahead and read some ingredients for the sweet jalapeno Reaper sauce. We have agave nectar, green jalapeno pepper mash, and then onions, bell peppers, apple cider vinegar, and then we have Reaper pepper mash, lime juice, and then poblano peppers, Himalayan pink salt, cilantro, garlic, black pepper, Carolina Reaper powder, and ginger. Beautiful cascade in there. And honestly, that jalapeno, that poblano, that Reaper, the way they all intertwine in here, the jalapeno and the poblano of providing that nice earthy undertone, while that Reaper ends up bringing the heat, brings a little bit of fruity note, that agave balancing it out with the sweetness, and the ginger really kind of settling things at the very end. It's nice little like palate cleanse, if you will. Very subtle, very minimal in the overall notice in taste in it, but absolutely phenomenal. Heat coming in at 2.6, aroma of 3.89, flavor of 4.25, versatility of a 4, burn of a 3.2 for a total swear word rating of 3.59. There we go, another amazing sauce. This, once again, the sweet jalapeno Reaper from Stanky Sauce. If you enjoyed the sauces that were featured here on Hot or Not tonight, I will have the direct links down below for those, as well as a link to the main site so you can check out the full lineup of amazing products from Stanky Sauce. Highly recommend checking these out, as well as many others that they have, and they have a phenomenal barbecue sauce. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to tonight's discussion. Hey, Brad, how's it going?
Awesome. How are you doing, Brandon?
Doing great. Glad to have you here. And obviously, diving back in, you've been here before. For all of those that may be watching and listening for the very first time, you can definitely run it back. There is a initial meet and greet with Spicy Dadda, and you can get to know everything about what he has going on. But here we're going to be diving a little bit deeper, and I know that there's a great festival that we've already been hyping up here on the podcast. So would love to learn more about that and all the great things you have going on.
Thanks for having me back. Is there like a SNL list of people who make their repeat appearances?
Yeah. There's actually been quite a few, I guess now, returning guests. So it's been a lot of fun, and the great thing about it is really peeling back, obviously, that initial meet and greet for a lot of folks, but now it's really kind of diving in, getting to know the person more, maybe talking a little bit off tangent on some things as well, and just having fun.
Absolutely. I mean, I love what you're doing. The podcast is always entertaining. It's great to jump on here and chat with you about peppers.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. No, it's been a blast. I've honestly been reflecting as I'm coming up on the 2-year marker of the podcast running, and it's just like time flying by. The amount of episodes going from one show a week to 2 shows a week, and just reflecting on all the great companies that I've been able to meet, get a better understanding on, and really continue to share out there with the rest of the world. So it's been a blast, and looking forward to all the great things that I have planned in the future. But one of which is this upcoming Houston event here, and to hopefully be doing some nice meet and greets with some folks. I know I've had quite a few reach out saying that they're going to be there, so would love to get more people out that way.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really stoked about it. September 26th, Spicy Planet. This is not just a hot sauce festival. That's what I want to get out there first and foremost. This is a celebration of peppers and the chili community and all things spicy. So I've reached out to some of my absolute favorite people that I've met on the road over the past couple years. And anybody and everyone who makes delicious products that I've tried at different events and shows. I've reached out to them, said, hey, your chocolate is amazing. I will give you peppers from my garden if you'll make some spicy batches. Same thing with jerk chicken guy, tamales. So, of course, we're going to have some of my absolute best friends, Hardcore Hot Sauce, Headstone Hot Sauce, Natch Thai Chilies. They've jumped on to sponsor with me. And I reached out to everybody in Houston who makes hot sauce, trying to get them involved. So my goal here is really just to bring the Houston and Texas community together and celebrate the chili community.
Absolutely. And you have such a great lineup just from those people that you named. And then obviously the nice collaborations you're mentioning about the whole sharing the peppers and kind of having spicy tamales and chocolates, etc. Definitely looking forward to that. I know I've been hyping up the spicy, adult beverages, if you will, that will be provided, that you can order and they'll be provided at the event. And so I think it's going to be a phenomenal time, whether you are, someone that pushes the limits or not. You're going to be able to find something within the range that you enjoy. And of course, watch as a whole bunch of people are on the stage, me included, pushing ourselves and trying to go for that Houston belt.
I know. I think you're going to have a leg up on the competition because you've tried my peppers and hot sauces before, so you kind of know what you're getting into. These are not just, plants grown in pots on somebody's balcony that claims to have Superhots just because it's called a Carolina Reaper. The stuff that comes out of my garden is brutal. And this year I've got some, what I consider and what I've tried to be some of the absolute hottest stuff that I've ever grown before, and a unique burn that I've never experienced. So I can't
Very
wait to see
nice.
you try them.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I honestly, full transparency, haven't really been pushing myself as hard, so this will be a lot of fun. Hopefully, this pepper competition, I will actually get the endorphin dump that I'm looking for. The last time I had the competition that was in the Dallas belt match, I went through the whole thing waiting. It was like teetering on the edge of getting that endorphin dump, and it never came. I I wasn't completely miserable, but I didn't get that nice, I guess, release, if you will, of those endorphins. So looking forward to it. And the idea was hopefully if I don't train quite as hard, maybe I'll hit that, and that'll be my second wind because as with anything, with volume of mass quantities of food, peppers included, as you start to stack those higher and higher, at least for me, texture then starts to become an issue. Normally, texture isn't that bad of a problem, but you start to get, 35, 40 peppers deep, and, a lot of things can change.
Yeah, very quickly. So we're going to start off on lemon starburst peppers. So we're not going to do jalapenos, hatch chilies. We're going straight to like habanero heat level for the layman out there. But lemon starburst, delicious, crunchy taste. And then we're just going to move up the scale from there. So lemon starburst to scotch brains to ghost rubies to brain strains, big bayou mamas, then my Pastor Burns Primo Tolly Cross, which is just insanely brutal.
Man, looking forward to that. Now, I know that your sauce is also going to be featured in there in the mix. Now, is it just exclusively your sauce, or is there going to be another sauce featured from a different company? How's that going to play out? Without giving too much of the secrets
So
away.
I think we've got round seven set aside. If you make it up to the Superhot range, the next one is going to be chugging a bottle of Area 51
Okay.
at the table.
Okay.
I'm going to give everybody a bottle and a straw and wish them luck.
That's what I was just about to say is, Area 51 registered in my mind as being the best sauce alternative for that. But my initial thought was like, how are you going to be able to make sure that everyone's getting the same amount out? But yes, the straw would, clearly define if you're able to get it all out or not. I mean, because, at that point, you're just kind of, if it's, say, stuck up top, because it is a bit thicker. It's not, for those that
Yep.
are unfamiliar with it, it is much more of just a straight mash. So it's going to have a lot more thickness and hardiness to it. It's going to hold better. So when it gets down low, you could easily just smack the bottle on the table, and then everything should shift to the bottom, and then just be able to grab it with a straw. So,
Yeah, so I just made this batch of Area 51 last week for the competition, and I think I literally spent like an hour blending this thing to get it, as close to a liquid consistency as possible. It's still thick, it's still chunky, it's still delicious, but it's a little more, it's not as chunky as, the standard bottle. So
okay.
hopefully it will be drinkable. I tried it yesterday and like absolutely lit me on fire still. So
Well, one thing that you had mentioned there with the whole blending it down, trying to get it more of a liquid and less of a chunk is, I know that's a lot of people's crippling nature is if there's a chunky sauce, it doesn't matter if it's hot or not, they just can't handle the texture. So I was like, easily that round when that came up, that would be the one to flush people out that couldn't handle it. But I think they'll still have obviously the heat alone and the flavor alone. A lot of people, I've actually learned, and I'm pretty shocked that a lot of people aren't able to handle that kind of like primo tally flavor. It's a little bit too bright for them, and so it'll be a challenge no matter what because the heat, the flavor, the texture, all these things combined. Definitely with it being later in the rounds, it's going to be a nice, level set to who's left on the table.
absolutely. And with the Pastor Burns Primo Tally, so regular Primo Tallies, full disclosure, I'm I've eaten them. They're brutally hot. I don't like the heat profile that I get from those because when I eat a primo tali, it settles straight into my chest, and then the heat kind of radiates outward. I don't get like the mouth burn personally from primo talis. I know people do, but this is my garden. I make sauces that I want to eat and that I enjoy eating. So I kind of retooled my garden this year and tried this new Pastor Burns Primo Tali specifically for that reason. It's an unknown cross that came out of Pastor Burns' garden. He's one of the League of Fire Wrecking Crew pepper growers. Um, and Brent Rutherford sent me these seeds. So I got this pepper, I tried it, and it has that tropical fruity taste from the seven pots
Oh,
that you get with
nice.
like a brain strain, but it's got that burn and it hits me everywhere. So I get it in the mouth, I get it in the chest, I get it in my ears too. It's one of those that like hits just the whole head. So yeah, I'm really excited for to watch people take this one on. I can't handle more than just like a tiny little cut of it.
I, I,
And then
I'm I'm loving it. Definitely sounds
then
great.
the big Bayou Mama peppers, that's another new cross that's come out from Troy Primo that he's been working on. Again, Brent Rutherford sent me these seeds. If you haven't tried this one yet, the ones that are coming out of my garden this year, like I describe the burn from this one as like daggers in your throat. It's like you get that full, like delicious, super hot taste, and then it's just like searing pain, like getting, it's almost like something's like trying to crawl out from within. It's not like the brain strain burn where like you feel like a dragon, like breathing fire. It's like a piercing, like meanness.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That whole Mama lineup is super interesting in the ways that it goes about the burn characteristics. Obviously, not rated the hottest, out there, but man, does it fight like some of the best. And that's simply just because so many different other burn characteristics amongst the peppers that are commonly found or grown don't really retain a lot of those, dihydrocapsaicin, capabilities in such a condensed way. So absolutely, a brutal one, a yummy one, and there was. I haven't done it this year, but there has been one of my go-tos for whenever getting a nice torta. I'll cut out, bring open the sandwich, and on the side with the beans, I just press, a whole bunch, basically line the whole inside with those, and that is the heat source that I'll normally put on those type of sandwiches, and it's simply because uh, a lot of the greens or like the mustard or the caramel, it can have at times a bit more of an earthy note that a lot of people don't like. And really, I've found out that layering it in that way on the sandwich, you get none of that, but you get all the greatness of the burn. And so it's just this great body that carries through.
Absolutely. And like so much of the heat characteristics and profiles of the peppers, it's all about where it's grown, the climate that it's grown in, the soil, the how the soil is taken care of to produce these peppers. If you're just buying store bought soil and throwing a Carolina Reaper seed in there that you got from Home Depot, and you're like, oh my, these aren't very spicy. That's why. I mean,
Hmm.
and that's really been a passion project of mine over the past couple of years. Is I select my own seeds out of my garden from my very best plant, from the hottest pod that I try from that plant, and that's what I carry forward. So I have a very selective profile going on. Of course, it takes generations and generations to make new pepper plants or to say that you've got something different than anybody else. For
Yep.
me, it's about just making sure that, you know, what I grow and what is coming out of my garden is uniform, that it's characteristic, that we're keeping the traits that I like in my peppers, the taste profiles, the heat profiles. And then the seeds that I try out from other people, I'm extremely selective on who I will grow seeds from. And that's a huge lesson for the pepper community too, that a lot of the people selling seeds for profit, they're taking as many pods as they can get. They're taking seeds just to push those around and make some make some money off of it.
Yep.
So the whole selective seed process is so important when it comes to peppers, to make sure that you're getting seeds from a plant that was super healthy, super productive, super hot, super tasty, and not a diseased plant that produced 10 peppers that somebody pulled seeds out of to make a quick buck.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And, speaking to the whole seed acquisition aspect of things, it ultimately, I remember entering the space, and at the time, before Pepper Joe's was sold and now owned by who it's owned by now, I remember watching a lot of those videos and the actual Pepper Joe talking about the different pepper plants he has going on, etc. And so I also remember from there going, well, he puts out a lot of great stuff. He must know what he's doing, etc. I'll buy some from him. I needed to get, I think it was 2 or 3 varieties, and I had happened to look online, and he was selling basically like a value pack is what we'll call it, right? It was 8 different varieties in there. I really only needed 3. I was like, yeah, it'd be nice to have the additional 5. It was $2 more than what I was going to pay for just those 3. And so I rolled the dice. And for a lot of us that are out here, we've all been at one point Pepper Joed, and now it seems that there is a growing amount of people in which are getting, incorrect seeds, to put it, politely. And so whether intent is already there ahead of time or not, that is not for me to determine, and that's on them, whoever's doing it. But ultimately, it almost feels like it's a bit of a rite of passage in order to be a grower within the community. Is at one point you had to have got swindled in some way, shape, or fashion.
And that's really unfortunate, in my opinion. And that's something that I would really love to see evolve and change about the pepper community, because for every one of us, the first order of seeds I did was from Pepper Joe. They're the first people that pop up. They've got incredible branding. They've got incredible product descriptions. Their website's top notch. They've done a lot of money. They put in a lot of investment on making a good user experience,
Mm-hmm.
until you get the product, and the product is awful. They're
Mm-hmm.
being Pepper Joed is a term that we all use in the chili community.
Yep.
And it's really, really unfortunate, because if you're someone who's new to the community and you take the time, the money, the effort, you buy seeds, you get good soil, you put in good compost, you build a new raised bed, and then your super hot peppers that you were trying to grow, like your bubblegums, your scorpions, they turn out to be jalapenos or something that is a bell pepper, and that's going to turn off a lot of people. Immediately, they're out of the community. Whereas if that did grow to be a scorpion, maybe they'd fall in love with super hots. Maybe they would start making sauce at home and have a better appreciation for craft hot sauces and the work that goes into growing these peppers and making delicious sauces. But instead, they grow jalapenos and they're just done with the whole thing. So
Yep.
when that happens, it's hurting all of us, and it's killing the community instead of building the community. So that's really why I'm so passionate about my seeds that I pull, the seeds that I put out, the people that I work with. It's a shame. We should be growing this community, and we should be embracing each other. Actively just trying to make a quick $5 by giving somebody jalapeno seeds and laughing your way down the road is, it's hurting us all. And mistakes happen.
Yeah.
That is part of the game. And,
Yeah.
every now and then you're going to have a hybrid cross happens. But if I give somebody a pack of lemon starburst seeds from my plants, 90% of those are guaranteed to grow lemon starburst.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it should be. And all the reputable seed sellers that I've worked with, that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I grow what is on the package, and they grow true. So
Yep. Yeah, one of my first experiences with really like buying super hot seeds, I was trying to grow a Trinidad Maruga scorpion is what I had purchased, right? And so it came in a seed pack, said I think 15 seeds, and I dumped them all out in a tray, waited for them. Out of that pack of 15, two popped up. And I was like, okay, well, not the greatest outcome, but let's roll it. And I remember I started them right before winter. Everything was indoors, so I was overly taking care of them. That whole Ace Ventura like thing, just kind of scrolling across, watching every 2 seconds. And finally, they start to look great, healthy plants. Everything's going good. And plant number one finally starts to throw a pepper. And I was like, all right, cool. So start to see it come out. I'm like, that's not the right shape. Something's not right here. And then plant number two starts its pepper. And I'm like, well, that's not the shape that I was expecting. But now both of these plants look completely different on pods. So something's going on here. Sure enough, one was just a traditional orange hob is what that one came out to be. And then the other one was like a yellow Scotch bonnet kind of like child, if you will. It didn't quite look like a yellow Scotch bonnet, but that was the closest thing that it resembled in both flavor, heat, and characteristics. And so I was just like, so neither of these are what I had intended. And yeah, to that point, it was one of those things that I was just like, do I even try? And then, I was already bit by the bug, so it didn't matter. I just ended up dumping a whole bunch of seeds out, and I was just happy for that first year. Whatever grew. And so, but a lot of people, like you're saying, yeah, it's ultimately they might just see that get completely discouraged and then just give up altogether. And so you don't ever want that to happen either.
Right. And something else that the worst year I ever had growing peppers, I'm not going to name any names or call anybody out, but I got seeds from someone that, they were claiming to be Superhot seeds, someone who's like a website that's highly recommended. And those were all extremely diseased plants. They attracted pests like nobody's business. And at the time, it was like, what did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I messed this all up. I must not be a very good grower. I must not know what I'm doing. And, looking back on that 2 years later, those seeds were stunted from the beginning. They were slow growers from the beginning. They must have come off of diseased plants or plants that, they took every pod that they could get to de-seed and to sell seeds and to make their quick buck. And then jokes on me that they didn't grow true, or and that's the aspect of it that really kills the community and stops people from growing peppers. And
Yep.
my number one thing that I'm looking forward to and that I love about growing peppers and making hot sauces and going out to shows and stuff is meeting people who love peppers and meeting people who love hot sauces and getting to talk to them, getting to meet them, building that community, having fun. Obviously, I take myself extremely seriously. For me, it's all about just being silly and meeting new people and spreading the love. And the way I bond is over eating crazy, spicy stuff together. Um, so if you're killing that vibe and you're turning people off of the community and starting wars over things, it's really a tragedy that's pushing people out of this community. It's not bringing them in. Because if somebody eats pepper from my garden or if they try one of my hot sauces and they love it, well, maybe then that person's part of our community and they're going to go try another craft person's hot sauce and they're going to try somebody else's hot sauce. They're going to buy seeds from the seed vendors. They're going to start growing their own peppers. And we all win together that way.
Yep.
That's one of the things I really, really love about what's happening up in North Texas with Freaky Ferments and Bucking Hot Sauces and Hot Sauce bonding together to really bring the North Texas Hot Sauce Festival to life is that is all about building community. It's not about maximizing the dollar that they can extract themselves. It's about bringing all of the hot sauce creators in Texas together. It's about making something that is bigger than just themselves and really building us all up together. And that's really what I want to replicate down here in Houston. It's a shame. Houston used to have a huge hot sauce festival. It's been gone for years now because it all devolved into a war over money. And the person who originally was putting on the festival wasn't able to do it anymore. And then it became a bidding war over the IP rights. The person who won all of a sudden they decided they weren't going to do anything with it. They were just going to sit on the IP for a while as an investment and then try and extract more money down the road. And it really killed the community here. I mean, we have a couple festivals that are smaller. The turnout hasn't been what I'm hoping to see and
Hmm.
what I experience. I mean, I go out and all I do is put my hot sauces on the table, and I've got lines of people that are so excited to try these hot sauces. And there is a vibrant community alive and well in Houston, and they really don't have that avenue to come out and build that community and share their love of peppers and all things spicy.
Yeah. Well, and perfectly said. It's the idea and the mentality and entering into the space with the mindset of building up the community, not really worrying about necessarily the bottom dollar. Like obviously things are, needing to stay afloat at certain point, but it's not, you're not scalping people over this, right? It is a different mindset and frame of which you're approaching this. So yeah, and to that point, I love what North Texas Hot Sauce Fest is able to accomplish. I expect this year's going to be even much more, glorious than the previous year. I absolutely love the venue that they're going to be at, so it's going to be a lot of fun there, and it's going to be a great time for like not only just pepper goers, but also like their families to be out there too. I know for me last year, I brought my son out to the North Texas Hot Sauce Fest, but like this year, I should be able to have my daughters out there too. There's going to be things for them to do while I'm out there having fun. And so with that, in mind, it's going to, in how it should translate is going to be more people attending. And obviously with each year, it should continue to grow and get better. But yeah, to that point, it's, the Houston thing, yeah, I remember seeing a lot of the footage, and like I never got to go physically to one of those events. Every time they came up, it wasn't top priority for me at that point in my life, and so I just never made it out there. But a lot of the playback, the videos and things that I had watched from the event, it was it was getting very much more geared towards the animosity side of things instead of the brotherhood building up aspect. And it was people playing into and pitting people that they knew would naturally have a disagreement on things. And so it was like, sure, as in society, we gravitate towards the negative, the hatred, all the things that we shouldn't do, and that's what gets pumped out across social media, etc. The news, perfect example of that. They don't really tell you things that are great that's going on. They just tell you things to kind of shock you, scare you, and have you stay watching. And that's kind of the way that was trending. And so, yeah, to that end, it's like, you see that event start to die, and then it does die, and then now it's like, okay, now it's just a forgotten memory, and it's kind of one that has a tainted outlook, unfortunately. And yeah, I think Texas is a very large state full of tons of people, at which we all, and to some level of degree, all Texans do love spice. Now you have some transplants that come here and they think mayonnaise is too hot, but we don't claim them. Okay, so
Exactly, exactly. No, that's a huge point. And the other thing about Texas is that we have one of the best climates for growing peppers in the entire country. The growing season, especially down here in Houston, I get my plants out middle of February, and my plants stay alive until we get that freak one weekend frost in January that kills them off. So almost a full year, my plants are producing pods. And the other thing is, like, during the summer, the intense heat in that sun is brutal.
mhm.
And what that does to pepper plants is it increases the capsaicin production. So the pods that are coming out of here are, in my opinion, the hottest pods that you can get because of this climate. And then the humidity is perfect. Peppers love humid climates. So the humidity, the heat, it all works together to just make delicious, delicious peppers. And that's really where I see this community starting to build and grow in the future, is really identifying, kind of like, I compare it often to like wine culture. You go to Napa Valley, you go to these different, places in France that are renowned for their specific climate. You
Mhm.
identify the years that stuff is produced because of the rain and the weather and things like that. And you have these kind of holy grail years where you have the hottest, the best tasting grapes, the most productive grapes. Same thing for hot sauce. I want to see that happen with peppers, where we're identifying and appreciating the different climates and how that impacts the growth of the peppers and how that goes into the sauces, and kind of create this culture where, oh, the 2024 Area 51, that is a collector's item that you absolutely must have in your collection. It was the perfect year for growing peppers, or things like that. And I think it's going to be really, really important for producers and hot sauce people moving forward that you are connected with where your ingredients come from. You are connected with where you're sourcing stuff, because as people become more and more aware of these things, if you are just buying dried pods from some random Joe Schmo on Amazon or on
Hmm.
the internet, and you don't really know where this stuff is coming from or even when it was grown, then how are you going to be able to connect with people who want that experience and who want to know more about the conditions and how these peppers were produced? And that impacts the flavor so much. And if
Absolutely.
if you're making hot sauce that you can't even taste the peppers and that's not important, then I want to see a world where that starts falling by the wayside and we start connecting way more with craft sauces that people appreciate the same way we have with wine over the years.
Absolutely. And yeah, to as you're describing that, I also I love wine. I do enjoy trying different wines from all around the world, etc. And very much for that same reason, I have appreciation for the different notes that are able to be picked up through the different years and the different growing conditions. And man, these grapes were much more bright this year compared to last year. Last year was much more bold and robust, etc. And so it was interesting to think that through, because yeah, no shade to those individuals that are out there doing this, because everyone's got their own intended business plan, model, and goals in mind. But the sauces that just do fly by the avenue of outsourcing to whoever has the cheapest dried peppers or mash or whatever, without really putting any thought in where it's grown, how it's grown, the quality at which these things are picked to be able to be sent to you. All of that comes into factor. And those individuals that do that route, their sauces aren't the ones that are typically just standing out that people are ranting and raving over. Those tend to be what we now commonly speak of as gift shop hot sauces, right? The more
Yeah.
novelty things. And, once again, no shade to that. They definitely have their place. They definitely have their avenue at which they operate in. But those aren't the ones that are being seeked out day in, day out for something that people want to use. And it's that same thought process. It sounds silly to think of, because I know obviously with wine you're able to keep this longer. You have things that you need to do in order to ensure that the quality stays top notch. But it's also silly in my mind to also picture my wine racks here with everything there, and going over there, and now there's a hot sauce rack, and it's got a wax dip bottle that has the date like engraved in it that says grown in the, for lack and humorous aspect here, grown in the Houston Valley of the 2025 season,
I love it.
grown with the most intense time frame and cultivated just for your enjoyment. And it's like, oh yeah, I think I want to go with that one today. Like
Yeah.
it could be a very interesting avenue to go down.
But it's like you're having a dinner with friends, and it's like, tonight we're going to be served our Bordeaux bottle of wine paired with our brain strain sauce of 1954.
Yep.
Yeah, I joke all the time. Like I said, I take myself extremely seriously, as you can tell, and I tell people I spend so much time and money making sure that the stuff that I grow, it's all organic, no pesticides. I don't use any preservatives. I don't use any fillers like xanthan gums. It's food. Like, this is
Yep.
stuff that I eat every single day, and when I'm out tasting my sauces, I'm always like, now this is what I pair with Taco Bell and what I pair with Chipotle. And
Yep.
it's like I put so much time and effort into making sure it is organic and that this is some of the highest quality stuff that you could actually purchase. But I know how people eat this. I know how it's consumed, and I eat it the same way. So I don't want to come off as like some snobby like health nut who's holier than thou at all. I'm just really, really passionate about producing the best possible hot sauce that can be enjoyed by absolutely everybody. If you've got allergies, if you're vegan, if you are super into health and wellness, you're better than I am. I applaud you for that. But I want to make sure that it's as available to everyone as possible. And I tell people all the time, it's surprising. I used to use pesticides. I don't have anything against pesticides, but for me, my plants grow better when you don't spray them with poison. My
Mm-hmm.
sauces taste better when they're not fermented in plastic.
Mm-hmm.
My I think things hold together and they taste better when you don't use those fillers and you actually take the time to get the consistency right. It's something that I struggled with for years, was getting the consistency that I wanted in my sauces without using those. So yeah, it's the harder road to take, but at the end of the day, I think it is a much better product. And I think what I'm seeing is a maturing of the hot sauce community. No longer, for years and years and years, the hot sauce community was shit your bed hot sauce and death fire 1625 million Scoville, tastes like shit, the bomb. Love the bomb. It's made in Kansas City. Props to them for what they're doing. It tastes awful. This stuff tastes like shit. And that was the crux of our community for so long, but we're seeing that expand on a rapid scale at this point. And I think the majority of people who come to my booth and try my stuff, they want stuff that's hotter than what they can get in the grocery store. But they have no interest in something that's just going to kill them with no flavor for no reason.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, two things there. One, to quickly touch on your booth and your presentation is always very eye grabbing, catching, bright colors, draw you in. So yeah, you're getting that, and then they're sitting there, they're trying your product, they're finding out the difference, your love, your care, your passion. And I also like to, as you were mentioning, we were talking about the wine and then the growing and the avenues, and within the growth trajectory of how this is headed. It started to draw a correlation in my mind as well. I mean, just think about the early days of the automotive back in the Model T, et cetera. Everything was just that. It was just a means of transportation. It was just everything was the same because it was like, hey, we found one avenue of success. Let's continue to build on it. Let's continue to grow. And vehicles looked like that for a very long time. Now, flash forward. Now you still have a person in today's day and age that's like, hey, I need transportation. Well, you have two different types of customers. You have the ones that are like, I just need something to get me from point A to point B, and they may go grab anything off the lot, right? As to where then you have those that pay attention to detail, they care, they're looking for other fine amenities. And then you have those individuals that are, going out there and now they're not just looking for any old car, they're now looking for their Lamborghini, their Ferrari, their, Ford GT, etc. And they're trying to build out this insane custom supercar in order to continue to push things further. And it's very much in that same way as what's going on today. You're seeing now people have much more care, focus, and intent on how they are, cultivating these peppers, how they are pairing these ingredients in each sauce or blend, etc. And so that evolution, I feel like, is just a natural occurrence at which we are now seeing the giant boom and bust of what is going on.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I see a major shift in the industry from you know what's been going on in the past and what's been successful in the past. I think that trend is changing very quickly, and I'm extremely excited to be part of that. Our branding, our look, the feel of our products, our booth, the way our content is put out there, it's very intentional to be approachable. I make hot sauces. We've won multiple awards for having the hottest sauce in Texas that doesn't use chemicals or extracts with Area 51. And on the other side of that, I've been working really hard to make stuff that's for everybody, and flavor profiles that are totally different and off the wall to make it as approachable as possible. If you if you can't come talk to me wearing something stupid like this, like, yeah, I mean, come on. It's all about being a fun, family friendly brand and getting new people to join the community. Come in, try some hot sauce. It's not scary. I'm not gonna make you shit your bed. I'm not gonna make you regret the next morning. It's this enjoyable food or enjoyable sauce that is meant to be put on food. And I would tell people exactly like each one of our sauces is meant to be paired with something specific. It's
Hmm.
not meant for everything, and it's not meant for everyone, but I have something for everyone, for your flavor profile, and for what you enjoy.
Yeah. And I think that's just naturally as a consumer base too, just collectively. I mean, this resonates all around the world. There's so many times when people will come up to a booth and they're interested in the idea of hot sauce. They may have, their set criteria at which they know they use hot sauce, but it's one of those kind of like a limiting factor almost where the consumer doesn't think about the other avenues in which they can use this sauce. And I see far too often it's not pushed, it's not educated upon those consumers as far as the different avenues and ways that you can use the sauce. You wouldn't be out there talking about, this hot sauce pairs great with X, Y, and Z, but then leave out the fact that you can, oh, by the way, also use it for desserts. Like, why would you leave that
Yeah,
part out when you can clearly now bring some other enjoyment to a different step in which you're enjoying that dinner that night, or, just having a great time? Finding fun ways to use sauce, whether that be with salad dressings, with desserts, with traditional foods, charcuterie boards, etc., and finding fun avenues that it pairs is, in my opinion, a lot of the thrill of it all. So,
it really is. My two newest sauces that I've came up with since I was on here last time. One is for charcuterie boards specifically because my wife absolutely loves the charcuterie board and cheese board, so she's putting that on absolutely everything. And then one that's not even up on our website, I've just been selling it in person. I came up with a black cherry espresso sauce that
ooh,
is to die for on ice cream. And that's been a really fun talking point that we've all heard of sweet and salty, but
mm-hmm,
have you tried hot and cold at the same time together? Something that has that spice, but immediately is paired with something that cools it down. It's a trip on your taste buds that you don't understand until you try it. It's just like with sweet and salty. It sounds disgusting to put potato chips and ice cream together, but when you try it, there's like something that happens on your taste buds. It's like, wow, I really like that. That's fun.
yeah, no, I mean, that's a big part of a lot of the fun is navigating that. And something you had mentioned earlier, and obviously for all those that are watching, they're able to see that is not a green screen backdrop behind you. That is real peppers. You are growing monsters out there, and proof here that you have a nice shaded canopy in which you're able to enjoy, during the podcast. And like, the videos, for those that are not familiar, the videos, the photos you roll out these plants are taller than you in most cases, and they're super healthy. You're doing great things out there, and that really also plays into what we had talked about earlier. Really caring for, nurturing, selecting the proper seeds, caring and tending for that soil to really help bring this whole thing together. As you've started to navigate the different seed selection avenues, once you find that a seed's no longer valuable to you in the sense of you're never going to grow it again, are you one to just throw it in the trash, or do you like to throw it in the fire pit and watch it burn?
So I've literally got a plant over here. If a plant that I grow isn't doing what I want it to do, if I don't like the pods on it, if I don't, I've got one that didn't produce a single pod. I literally stopped watering it on purpose and I let it die in front of all of my other plants to make an example of it. Like, this is what happens if you don't do your job.
Yep.
Do your job. I've given you all the tools for success. Make me delicious hot peppers. And if you don't, you will die a slow, fiery death.
I like it.
I like throwing it in the fire pit too, but I like my plants to have an example of, like, just like my kids, like, this is what's going to happen. You can make your choices. I'm not going to tell you what to do all day, every day, but there are consequences for
Yeah.
bad choices.
Yeah. I think that is that's a good way to really think about it too. Is like oftentimes, there's definitely growers out there that may not have kids, etc., and understand that avenue. But it is very much that you are equipping your plants just like you equip your kids with the right knowledge base, the resources, the know-how to act in public, etc., and how to handle and conduct themselves. And it's the same thing could be said for these peppers. And so ultimately, at the end of the day, the variables and the controllables are to an extent what you can, deal with, but the rest is on the plant, is on the child, etc., to continue to either head down that path or blaze their own trail. And for peppers, that doesn't work out so well if they don't want to play ball. So
Exactly. No, it's there's a lot to be said. If that plant threw out 2 pods and I pulled those pods and kept the seeds from them and hoped they'd be better next year, that's on me. That's something that I can control. This was a bad plant. It did not produce. Its genes will not be carried forward. And ultimately, that's what the job is for plants in, you know, farming, I guess. I don't know
yeah,
what their ultimate goal is, but it's to pass on your seeds, to make as many seeds as possible, to make as many delicious tasting fruits as possible so that someone will eat them, pass those seeds out into the environment, and carry on that gene reproduction. So if a plant's not doing that, there's a problem with the genetics. And that's not something that you can fix with better soil, more fertilizer, something like that. It's just bad genetics. So
yep.
that's got no place in my garden.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Well, something that I wanted to ask earlier and I completely forgot to, discussing the upcoming, here, I'll go ahead and pull that website up too for the Spicy Planet HTX. But the, I know, so there's going to be vendors there. You kind of mentioned briefly about some of those that will be there, but how many, I guess, as far as this facility that it's going to be at, is this going to be an indoor, outdoor? How many vendors are you expecting at this moment?
So it's a very curated list. It's being kept small on purpose and intentionally. We're going to have about 20 vendors total, half hot sauce, a lot of different spicy things, chocolates, ice creams, um, tamales, food products. Um, and we are hosting it at Social Beer Garden. So it's going to be half indoors, half outdoors. The vendor area, the League of Fire competition, that'll be taking place outdoors in the beer garden area. But we're going to have full run of the facility. It's a 2-story facility. So when you get hot, when you get really spiced, when you want to go to the bathroom, there's going to be air conditioned bathrooms. You don't have to go to a porta potty. Plenty of room inside to sit down and cool off. They've got arcade games, they've got pool, they've got foosball. So there's a lot of stuff to do besides just spice yourself out as fast as possible and hit the road. Like what happens at quite a few hot sauce festivals. There's a lot of stuff going on that you can take part in, that you can do, and it's really just going to be a fun, enjoyable night. The spicy margaritas are going to be made with my lemon starburst peppers and my primo tali peppers, so you can choose your level of strength. It's not going to be jalapeno margaritas that have very little to no noticeable spice. Like, these are going to be actually spicy drinks. So I'm really stoked. This is going to be a really fun event, and we're bringing a lot of people together. So, and that's really the name of the game. If you just like spicy stuff, come out. You're going to have a good time. You're going to find some stuff to try that you really like, even if it's not hot sauce. If you don't like hot sauce, that's not your thing. Come try some spicy chocolate. Come try some spicy ice cream. There's something for everybody.
Absolutely. And for those that may be watching, listening, and they may have heard about a different event, this one is going to be definitely geared towards 21 and older. So, not quite aimed at the whole family friendly aspect on that. So, definitely a nice night to, if you have your kids, make sure that they are with family, with a sitter, come out, have fun. It's going to be a blast, as you had mentioned, from 5 to 10 p.m. Looking forward to it. It's going to be, with it being outside, 5 o'clock, the whole day's kind of been already beaten down. The sun's still going to be out for another couple hours. It's going to be interesting to see how this Texas heat pairs for those people that are, unfamiliar and out of state from, these Texas can get pretty brutal hot, and this could be a very hot day, being towards the end of September.
This has been for Houstonians, and Texans across the state. So we're used to this. After 5 o'clock, that sun's going to set really fast, and we got air conditioning inside. So go in and cool off. Come back out. It's yeah, it might be hot for a little bit, but we're towards the end of September. We're not in the 115-degree days anymore. If you can't handle an hour outside at 5 o'clock, you don't deserve in the city. You don't deserve to be in the city. Is what I tell people.
Well, it's definitely going to be fun to watch as those that are from out of state come in and experience what it's like to be in a Texas heat. Yeah, and as you're saying, it shouldn't be in that 100, but Texas also has a mind of its own, and it could easily be in the hundreds. So
It could be. I'll be there in a wig and no, just kidding. This is totally this is totally real hair. This is my actual mullet that I have cultivated. But it will be interesting to see Shahida from, UK come over. This will be her first time in Houston ever. So we'll see how she holds up in the Houston heat. It's going to be a shock for her for sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be much more brutal. We could be talking July, and that peak of the heat, or really even August, is also still pretty intense. But yeah, it should be cooling down, but it'll still be hot for those that are unfamiliar with it. But for spectators, it's going to be a great time, as you were mentioning. Bounce in and out, cool yourself down. I'm sure that it's going to be definitely manageable. And as you are sipping your spicy adult beverage, watching everyone that's on stage ignite with all the heat from all the fire that's coming out of your garden, as well as the sauce, it should be a fun time for all, as well as, really just being able to, there's a lot of hearsay and, people just spewing things out there online. You want to know what people are about, come on out to this event, meet some of these folks firsthand, see how this thing's ran. Don't just listen to hearsay that you find online, because at the end of the day, everyone has their own opinion and outlook on things, and what better way for you to formulate your own than to do it by learning for yourself. So definitely.
Well said. It's about bringing everybody together. We all have our own opinions. Leave them at the door. Just come have fun. Just be part of this community. Let's have fun together, and let's put these petty differences and opinions aside and embrace all aspects of the spicy pepper world.
Absolutely. So, well, then, I mean, as far as the vendors go, it sounds like there's a nice a mix up of different options and varieties going on there. I know I've seen some of the companies that are, as you had mentioned as well, from Texas, that will be out at this event, that are great friends, near and dear, as are most within the community. But looking forward to seeing others, get to know them better, because I know that they are really starting to blaze their trail for themselves, last year, this year, and starting to really get that momentum going. And I definitely know a lot of these vendors are going to have a great future ahead of them. So looking forward to watching the explosion of growth and exposure to them, as well as all of those that are going to be competing. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have mentioned this before, the bond, the fun, the communal aspect of sitting next to other competitors. It's not I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, and blah blah. It's not this hatred. It's more of a locking arms, loving each other, being there to support each other, and it's a lot of fun to even just cheer on the person that's sitting next to you. You may hear them struggling or having a hard time, and being able to encourage them to keep going and not give up is it just brings it to a whole nother level, and I love that aspect.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that I've developed in my career, and I think a lot of people have to learn as they navigate new worlds and new industries and things like that, and just new experiences. That this isn't a I win, you lose type of world. It's a we win together, we lose together type of world. So picking each other up, encouraging people to go on, celebrating someone else's success. That's a very, very important part of the world.
Yep.
And I want to bring that more and more into the chili community as well.
Absolutely. Well, as continued success rolls forward, and the event as this one plays out, do you see this being a reoccurring annual thing that you're going to continue on, or what is the growth trajectory looking like for the HTX Expo?
So, what I see for the future is I'm hoping that we can make this bigger and we can continue to grow this for the Houston chili pepper community. I know there's talks of reviving the Houston Hot Sauce Festival the way that it used to be. So, maybe we combine with those efforts going on. I'm open. I just want to build the community. I want to get people out and enjoying spicy stuff together again. That's my whole motivation and desire. I'm not trying to make competing events or anything like that. I just want to build a community, and I want to get out there and meet other people who love hot sauce and peppers as much as I do and join together.
Absolutely. And, there's no issue with having a whole bunch of different events going on, because ultimately it's still, as you're well aware, I mean, you also attend these to, promote your business, etc. For those other companies that are out there that may not have a venue that they host, this gives them a chance to have different things to attend and connect with other like-minded individuals. So I think the more growth that happens, the more events that are around don't hurt things, they more help things. So definitely looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And maybe, if the Houston Hot Sauce Festival does come back around, maybe we turn this one into a promotion of the smaller vendors, because those events, they have large overhead costs. You have to rent venues. There's all kinds of setups costs. There's a lot of things that go into it, which means larger and larger and larger fees for the vendors who show up. And so if you're like me and you only produce the hot sauce that you grow, spending $300-400 on an event, that's a huge chunk to put down if you're a small independent local producer. So maybe that's a celebration of the big names, bring them into Houston so we can all go and interact and share our stuff. And then maybe Spicy Planet just is a showcase of the small producers, the new faces on the scene, and connecting, giving them an avenue to show off their products as well. So
Absolutely, love the sound of that. I think that has both avenues sound like a great possible future forward for this. So definitely looking forward to that and watching all the continued growth and traction that's just going to happen, because ultimately what you've been able to do so far has been amazing. I can't wait to see the event in person and be able to live it, experience it, and watch it continue to bud and grow.
absolutely. If you like spicy stuff, come out, bring your silly side, come have fun with us. If you've never seen our content before, take a minute to check it out and get to know our vibe. Like, we do not take ourselves seriously. We like to have fun. The purpose of this is to have fun. I'm not trying to sell as much hot sauce as possible through something like this. I just want to come out. I just want to have fun. I want to meet new people and share our bond over spicy stuff together.
All right. Well, I think it would be best suited to ask, what are the three things that you're most looking forward to with this event? Whether it's your own consumption while there, or, just things that you're going to witness.
I was just talking to my buddy Lauren of Hardcore Hot Sauce before this, and I was like, what I see happening, and like the most realistic thing is that I might be passed out in the corner from drinking margaritas all day during setting up and like interact, like having fun with all the vendors as they get there to set up. That I might just be passed out in the corner because I had too many spicy drinks. So definitely spicy margaritas, top of my list. Um, the spicy chocolate I'm super excited about. The guy who's coming out, Interstellar Confections, is his company. Super small chocolate producer. I found him on Instagram, and he's just making amazing, amazing chocolate, like highly artisanal stuff that it is fantastic. I like drove an hour and a half to get my wife a box of these chocolates for her birthday last year. And then he's going to make them with some of my peppers. So lemon starburst chocolate, Primo Tolly chocolate, Scotch Brains chocolate. I cannot wait to try what he creates with it. And then just hanging out and meeting people and sharing the love of all things spicy and talking about peppers, talking about growing peppers, introducing people to new hot sauces, whether that's mine, whether that's Lauren's, whether it's Madman Sauces, who's doing awesome things. He's going to be down there. Tot Sauce is going to be down here. He's coming down from Dallas. So there's going to be so many fun things and new spicy avenues to try for people. So yeah, my own consumption, definitely number one, selfishly.
Well, sounds like a great time. Sounds like everyone needs to get out there, grab themselves a spicy margarita, grab themselves some spicy chocolate, and just enjoy and soak up the event because it's going to be an absolute blast. It's been a pleasure having you on as well. Hey, this is obviously you're on here, so this is a great chance for you to do a nomination for someone that you think would be a great guest for the show. So this is your chance to put someone on the hot seat.
I think it would be fun. We've done a lot of hot sauce people, a lot of growers that we know, a lot of big faces. It could be fun to put in just a home hobbyist who's growing peppers and making stuff at home for their own enjoyment. So I'm going to throw out my buddy JT Cullen. He is somebody that I worked with for years that I've shared my love of peppers. He's growing a ton of different varieties on his patio up in Boston. Just a great, phenomenal guy who loves hot sauce, who loves peppers. I think he'd bring a totally new perspective to the chili community because he's not monetizing anything he does at all. He does this for the love of peppers.
Okay. Well, JT, I'll be reaching out. We'll find a time to have you on the podcast. Thank you for that nomination. And yeah, now is really, I guess, the last chance of kind of letting everyone know if about the event as well as where they can find you, how they can find you, and all the great things you want to plug away.
Come on out, guys. It's going to be an awesome time. September 26th, Spicy Planet. There's free tickets on Eventbrite. Check them out. Grab tickets so we know you're coming and we can have a seat ready for you. And then definitely check out our Instagram page. We make the spiciest content on Instagram for sure and have a lot of fun doing it. So get ready to have a laugh. Grab a pepper while you're doing it. Come out, have fun with us. And, I'd say my last plug in today's world is go out, have yourself a good laugh and a smile. Find things that make you happy. Be yourself and embrace the positive, happy parts of life because there's so much doom and gloom that we're surrounded with all the time that we forget the positive things and we forget to focus on being grateful for life and for laughter and for friends and for family and for the communities that we're part of. So stop picking wars and focusing on your differences. Just go out and enjoy people, man. We're all just people. We're all just trying to do the best that we can do. So let's love on each other and let's love on peppers.
Absolutely. Very well said. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure. We'll definitely have to run this one back and have you back on here soon. But thank you so much.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Brad, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure having you back on the podcast. If you want to keep up with Spicy Dadda, I'll have the links down below for all the ways that you can keep up with him, as well as the upcoming event that's going to be happening in Houston, September 26th. Head on out there. Come say hi. I'll be out there competing. There'll be tons of great other people from the community there as well. Get there, get the better understanding of who these competitors are, who these other companies are that are in the local area, doing amazing amazing things because they have some amazing different pieces of work that really showcase and highlight who they are as a creator, and absolute treasures to try them all. As well as there's going to be tons of spicy drinks and everything fun, as has been mentioned numerous times throughout tonight's episode. So see you there in Houston on September 26th at the League of Fire Houston belt match. As well as, don't forget, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. And hey, if you want to pick up the sauces that were featured here on Hot or Not tonight, pick up this new Classico. Maybe you're looking for a replacement for the boring everyday go-to sauce that you have had for a classic red sauce. Highly recommend checking out the Stanky Sauce Classico. It is absolutely amazing. Nice, well, robust. I'll have the direct links down for that below, as well as the other sauces featured here with the Sweet Jalapeno Reaper. Also want to say I have a few spots left on the sponsored event, so if you wanted to sponsor the podcast, reach out on some of the socials, reach out on the website, and inquire there, and we can definitely get you set up and ready to go. And thank y'all so much for rocking and rolling. Those that have just recently found the podcast, those that have been rocking since day one, thank y'all all so much for everything that y'all do. Continue to share this around with other like-minded chili heads, and definitely subscribe if you're on one of the platforms that is going to be needed to subscribe and keep up with what's going on with the podcast, as well as many other reviews. Shout out to the sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all of those needs, as well as webdx.one. Maybe you have an online site, maybe you had one built at one point, you lost contact with the guy, maybe you never got around to it. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one. They make it simple, painless, and easy, and the best of all, you get to focus on what you do best while they get you looking great online. I'm Brandon Swear, and for everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.